I am very happy and proud of this concept. This concept was the first gimmick I created that allowed for true self-expression. You're able to play a card change, a magical change, like you would a piano. You get to choose the moments, the timing, the visual itself. It's all modular and it's all able to be input with your style and your creativity. And to me, that's a really, really special thing. Welcome to the Piano Card Project. We're gonna get directly into it. This download is to teach you how to build and use this concept, this gimmick that I designed nearly 8 years ago. It's a very, very fun piece that lets you kind of express yourself and create so many possibilities. So the first thing we're gonna learn is the standard flap version, okay? This is built with 3 cards, okay? We have a red-blue double backer. A lot of people have this in their magic drawer. If not, you can pick up a red-blue double backer deck easily. And then you're gonna need 2 cards. I use blue because I think it hides the beginning flap a little bit better. So 3 things: double stick tape, X-Acto knife, your ruler, and some Prim knitting elastic. This is something you can pick up at Amazon, Penguin Magic, Vanishing Ink, very cheap, like $8, and it'll last you for so many gimmicks. This and others, invaluable buy for a magician. This gimmick is made with a red-blue double backer that I have cut out the border, scored down the middle so that it opens up, and then we added a face card with a lot of white on it so that there's no threads, because if we were to peel this back from the tape, we would see all the threads running underneath. And this allows for the burnable moment to be on the face. You bring it up, you allow the flaps to go how you want. Okay, just like that. And then you can go back to the burnable face. So it's just some simple psychology to show them clean. You get to the dirty part, you do the change, and then you come back to the burnable part, which is just a perfect seamless card. So we're going to get into how to build the standard version right now. For this basic version, we will be using a red-blue double backer, and to begin, we will score down the center. Scoring is just going through 2 layers of card. We want to make sure to get a clean hinge. Try to get through both 2 layers, leaving the last layer. I just added a little bit more of a cut. Now the hinge is working nice. Okay, perfect. We're gonna cut off the white border now. This is next. We have cut off the white border and we have the hinge working. And now we are gonna make a cut right under the angel's kind of waist. So we get 3 sections just like that. And cool, it's looking nice. This is the main piece for the piano card gimmick. We'll take some tape and we'll put it on the solid blue edge, and that will go face to the blue base card because we want it to change from blue to red for this gimmick that we're making. And there's many versions you can make and very easy to figure out how to make them. Okay, so we have the illusion of a blue card when the flap is shut, red when it's open. Now we're gonna put in the threading holes. We're gonna pick about the center and go to the top, and then we're gonna go to the bottom, making sure not to go too close to the top and not too close to the bottom to tear the flap edge. But yeah, we're going through both the flap and the base card. So we're gonna go ahead and finish it for the second flap, and this will be the guide holes that we use for the thread. Make sure to be careful with the needle. I've been doing this for many years, so I can just kind of freehand it, but be careful. Okay, so we have the guide holes created. It's looking nice. You can see them right there. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 for each flap. And now we're gonna take the holes. You can see, I'm just pointing them out, the general area. I know that you can't see them. We're gonna take some thread, put it on the needle, give it a knot on the needle, and then we're gonna just thread it through each of the guide holes, just a loop for each flap. So we'll start with the first flap, put it through, and we'll get rid of the excess. We don't need that much extra thread on the end to tie, but this about this much should be good. Okay, so for the thread, 1 double knot is what we're going to use. We're going to stretch it and do a double knot, and that is what we're going to do to set the tension. It will not lock the thread with 1 single double knot. It'll give us a little bit of leeway so that we can now open the flap and check the tension. Okay, so now we've checked it. This particular flap, I'm going to tighten up a little bit. We want it to snap nice and fast. And then we're going to give it another knot to lock that tension in. And now we have successfully locked in the correct tension. And now I'm just going to cut right above the knot, leaving a little bit of a tail so that it's nice and secure. And then I'll check once more. Boom, it's working well. So now I will continue threading the other 2 flaps. Remember, getting the correct tension is kind of the art to this section of the flap. So practice that, get the double knot, check the tension, and then secure it. Okay, so we have the 3 tied loops on each of the flaps, and we're just gonna check them. They're looking good. Perfect. Okay, so now you'll notice on the face of the card that there is some space for a double stick tape all the way to the right. Do not put the tape over the thread. Leave that free flowing. Then we're going to add some tape to the opposite end, and we're going to take a cover card that has a lot of white, not a face card. We want to be able to see a lot of white so that there's no holes, no threads coming through, and we're going to secure that down because that will be the burnable face, which will make this look nice. All right, and we'll just open this up to do a quick test. Okay, I place it down. Yep, and it's working nice. The final touch is we're just going to add a few red dots with a red marker to kind of cover up the crease line and make that nice and deceptive. So just a few breakups of the line that can happen when you crease the card. That should be good, and there is your gimmick.
All right, now that you have your first standard piano card made, congratulations first off. You're a badass for wanting to do this yourself. I respect that. All right, so the basic handling is you're gonna play the flaps, whether it's this 3 version or the one with the 4 and use all 4 of your fingers. You're just going to lift 1 finger directly up at a time, and if you do it from the front, you can't see that the finger is moving up with a little bit of motion, okay? So the goal is to keep the finger movement as small as possible, but it's, you know, it takes some practice. It's even hard for me to remember just to keep those fingers like as small as possible because I really want to move them to make sure the flap activates, but I try to focus on that myself even. So I'm going to bend the card a little bit, get a little bit of a break, and just open up the flap. So I'm going to push the first one, second one, and third one down. I usually put the first flap down that's going to go last. So I put them down in the order of
reverse of how I'm going to release them. So top, middle, bottom, then I'm going to release the bottom, middle, and top. Hope that makes sense. So now that we have a base card that's clean, this is the card that I'm going to show for the most time. I'm going to go to the back, I'm going to start movement, and then I'm just going to release the first one, and then hold, release that one, hold, and release that one. Keep a little bit of movement, and then show the face again. You want to keep a little bit of movement, and then always revert to the clean side. That's why we add this card. And that's why we use a card that has a lot of white on it, not like a face card, because then you're not going to be doing it justice, because we need people to see that there's no threads, there's nothing on the face. And that just helps a small psychological addition to proving visually that it's a normal card. Even though that's not the point, because we're all about visuals right now. We're not trying to convince people that we're actually changing playing cards. This is for the art of the visual. So, all together, I'm going to open it up first, second, last. I'm going to show the bottom. I'm going to go into it. I'm going to get the change down and go back to the front. Okay? So that's the basic handling. Now let's get into the other gimmicks that use the standard 3-section change that you saw in the trailer. Okay, so let's just get into the gaffes that you saw in the trailer. I'm obviously not going to teach you how to build this because you already know how to build the concept, so all you need is to know what the gaff looks like, and then you just apply the same standard concept to whatever design you want. So this will just get your brain spinning a bit. The X's is a red double backer on a red base card. So I've got an X here, open up the bottom, X here. I've got an X on this side and on the middle, and an X over here to there. So you get this nice little change that can be done in many different ways. So I've always been a fan of moving X's on cards. I think it's got a nice visual aesthetic. So that's one version that's easy to make. Let's see. This is a fun one. So I took a blank face blue back card. So this is the blank face, obviously trimmed off the edge. And then I just quickly drew what seems to be a very sketchy looking bicycle design. We pull this over. The blank face blue card is on a blue back. So the blank card, and then changes. I added a just blank card on the face because I think it's very fun to show the normal card and then go to what feels like another change on the face by seeing the drawing. I also made it in reverse. So we have another blank face, but the blank face card is on a blank base card. And like I said again, you don't need to copy these. I'm just trying to get your imagination flowing of what can be done with the concept that you've already learned. So blank card, blank face card with the gimmick made. So then we get that change, and then we have a normal ace. So I really like using these together like I did in the trailer. I think that's a really fun combo. And that kind of can let your mind expand a little bit to, okay, if I'm doing a video performance and I'm doing a series of cuts and like a jump cut video, we can use gimmicks that tell a story in each section, which is really fun. So it's not like we're trying to convince them that it's the same card, because that's not the point. It's just we're telling a story with each change. So it's, oh, the card changes from normal to a drawing that looks like a kid and then back, you know, so it's just a quick little story that you're telling throughout a couple clips. Yeah, so those are just some of the basic ones, and I really, really like this direction. So try to let your mind just think like, go pick up some basic gaffs, you know, red, 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 blue, 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 double backers, maybe some double blank cards, blank face, blank back, and just start like playing around with making different combinations and see where your mind can go. Because I'm sure that you'll come up with something really, really dope. I sat down and just gave myself, you know, 60 minutes to 2 hours just to be like, okay, what are some just basic things that I could come up with? And this is what I came up with. So I'm sure that I'll probably end up coming up with many, many more things, but I just wanted to give you some jump points of how to get a little bit funky with it. Okay, we're getting into the advanced section. I cannot make these advanced gimmicks for you. You're gonna have to use a little bit of problem solving. You already know the mechanics. The mechanics for both these gimmicks are the same mechanics that you have already learned. But just how with sleight of hand, you have to fit the move to your own hands. You have to put in practice time for the mirror. You have to figure out how to hold the cards exactly. You're gonna have to do that in the process of creating and analyzing these gimmicks to make. So everything's the same mechanics, but there's just gonna be added small little bridges that you're gonna have to connect and cross just to finish the gimmick. So this is the simpler advanced gimmick. It's split up into 4 pieces. So the same as the 3 section, but we just cut it into 4 pieces. And now we get the sections to just slowly move. And we get that really nice buttery up and down. I really love this. This was the first version that I created. And it's one of my favorites. I think the 3 has a little bit more ease of performance, but this one for video is just like, I really love it. So all that's different is that we're gonna cut into 4 sections this side of the flap, and then we're gonna thread each of the 4. So there's nothing, I cannot do the work for you. It's very straightforward. It just takes a little bit more motivation and a little bit more time with the threading and the needles. So this is why it's the advanced. It's gonna take a little bit more time, but this is definitely one of my favorites.
Okay, so we're now going to be looking at the 4-card flap. This is just the same as the flap that is 3 sections. You can see that we've placed the needle threading holes at the top and bottom of the center, just like before. We've just eyeballed, estimated into 4 sections the inner card that is scored down the middle, the double backer, the blue-red, and the focus on this is just to get the tension of the thread on all 4 flaps to be as similar as possible, and that will be the main working point of a good gimmick.
Okay, this is the hardest gimmick to make in this entire download. Right after this, I will be going over just an up-close view of it, but you're gonna have to pay very, very close attention to the up-close view to make this work. These holes are with a hole puncher that you can get anywhere. It's a 5/8 diameter. It's like, I think I paid like maybe $4 for the hole puncher, and that works really well with the triple change. So this gimmick is a blue double backer card, and there's a face. You can see the holes here. I put my fingers over this. I punched through the double card on this side, and on this side we can see that. So it's covering up each of these holes as we open it. And for this one, I like to hold the card. I think it's nice because since the flap moves this way, I think it's nice to hold this so that it kind of makes you feel like it's going this way, even though if this was a flap moving over, that would be impossible. And I kind of like that psychology a little bit. So we get this to move over, and then on this side, since there is 3 holes, the 3 fingers go over there. So I'm gonna go over the up close version of what this gimmick looks like. And it's the same mechanics, even though it looks more complicated, it just takes more time and a little bit of problem solving as you look at the gimmick up close to make it. And I guarantee if you put in the time to problem solve how to make this, you'll be one of the few people that can pull off this visual online. Good luck.
Okay, so definitely rewatch this section of the video if you want to make this gimmick over and over. This gimmick is even difficult for me to make, but it starts with 2 court cards, which I have cut the center out of and glued the edges or taped the edges together. Then I took the center of that and I placed double stick tape around the outside edge to attach it to the borders. And then we have our standard 3 flap version. The only difference is there's now 4 holes. You can look very closely. There's 2 at the top above the hole and 2 at the bottom corners as well. This is so that no thread goes over any of the holes when it's open or shut. So it's twice the amount of threading, but you can see exactly where it would need to go. We're using a 5/8 hole punch, and that is just punching through both the single layer and the double layer that my finger is through right now. So you can see this is just the same as the classic version. We've just cut off the border of both the support card and the gimmick, which is the blue, so that it can fit onto the border. And that's just with double stick tape around the edges. So you'll notice that if you think about it, this is quite simple. It's just going to take more time, and you already have the knowledge to build this. Each flap opens up and reveals a hole that is able to be seen through, and then you are able to do the same piano version of the holes moving across. This is a very, very cool thing. Your fingers then cover on the face. I love this type of gimmick, and I know that if you rewatch this section a few times and you learn the classic concept, there is no reason why you cannot make this yourself. Just going to take a little bit of extra time and have fun with it.